What's good, y'all? So I think my biggest takeaway from the previous week was a simple observation about how much closer I feel with my ascended masters, with my ancestors, with my angels, with any high level benevolent beings looking out for me, all the above and all the etceteras, right? And this is something that really got set in stone with me because of a live from Isis Wisdom's Telegram. And she was pretty much saying like some stuff that was common sense to me, but it's nice to have the reminder where she was pretty much saying like, hey, pay attention to the messages that you are getting from these higher level beings. Like, no higher level being is going to set you backwards. No higher level being is going to put you in harm's way. They're not going to trick you. They're not going to do anything like that. So if you're taking your advice from something that you think is somebody else, you need to make sure that you know these entities' names. If you think you're talking to your ancestor, what's your ancestor's name? If you think you're talking to an archangel, what's that archangel's name? And then based off of the guidance that you are being given, you kind of tailor that, or you kind of put that up next to the advice. It's like, wait, would Archangel Uriel tell me to do that? Would my great grandma tell me to say that to so and so? Wait, that doesn't sound like them. Hold on. And when you start asking those questions, that's when the true form of these energies start to make themselves known. You might be talking to a whole demon this entire time that's here to trick you and here to steal your energy, here to siphon off energy from you, or here to lead you. They gets more points in the demon realms by messing you up and throwing you off track. So that's just a little bit of what she was talking about, and it made complete sense to me. But here's the weird thing. This could be my own ignorance. This could just be my position in my spiritual journey. But, I don't need to necessarily know your name-ish. Or maybe I'm just simply not at that level of completely understanding what the name, how you will speak the name to me. That's one thing I know I need to elevate on. Like, I'm not at the level of having these like regular conversations. It's almost like some divine intervention whenever I have like a metaphysical experience with some other entity, Like, I haven't been at the point where, yeah, I just went with a walk with Oshun. Oh, yeah, I was just hanging out with Ra the other day. It's like, no. I'll know if a message came from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know about that much, but I ain't never been in the astrals just going for having a little Sunday dinner with so-and-so, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't at that point yet. But, since I'm not at that point, I kind of justify it by saying maybe I don't need it at this point. Because the way that I practice my discernment is every single piece of advice, especially when I trust my angels, ascended masters, and ancestors, those three specifically, the AAA of the metaphysical world. If my car breaks down in real life, I call AAA. If my metaphysical car breaks down, I call on my ancestors, and they get me going. They give me a little jump start. They give me a little boost. They open up the hood and give me some jumper cables. But nevertheless, every time I ask them for guidance, things just work out for me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Let me go ahead and share a story with y'all. So I was hanging out with my co-worker, and it was one of those gamer nights. Now, for me, I don't play that many video games, and he's just fresh out of college, so he still has the gamer fingers. He still knows his games. He knows how to play them all. He knows all the little shortcuts. He knows all the whatever. I appreciate the challenge, and don't get me wrong, I was getting my ass beat over and over and over, but every time I did a little bit better, and what ended up happening was, like, I kept saying one more game, and not because he kept winning and I had to get my one before I leave, because even if I won, I will still say one more game to solidify it. I'm not that one and done type of individual, but more so it was the fact that every single last round of the game, he would, like, some weird mechanic would happen. And I'm not sure if he knew what he was doing, which was more than likely the case, but like some weird thing would happen. And maybe that was just his trump card that would like pretty much beat me, and I would lose the last round of every single game, like for like 3 rounds straight. I was like, why the last round? I'm doing so good and some weird thing happens every time. But nevertheless, that's just what happens with experimentation. Sometimes you have to lose in order to win. You got to crawl before you can walk. You have to walk before you can sprint. So it is what it is. So then it got to the point where, like, I noticed it was getting dark. I was like, all right, we got to call it. It's like I was trying to get that one, but he's like, yo, good games, good games. So I left. So as I was driving down like this desert highway, like this 2-lane highway, this car comes pulling up like mad close behind me, and I'm like, mind you, I'm over here driving, I'm talking to myself as I typically do, la 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 la, a conversation. Yo, looking in the rearview mirror, like, yo, what you doing? Like, okay, damn. So like I started to speed up just a little bit because I mean we're the only two cars on this road. I ain't trying to get ran over or anything like this. Or it's like, did they send the agents on me? Like I didn't know if I said anything crazy. So then eventually, like, and this is where I noticed something was a little off though, because when I slowed down, he slowed down. When I sped up, he sped up. I was like, okay, this is a little weird. Mind you, it's like 10 o'clock at night at this point, driving through a 2-lane desert. I couldn't see whose vehicle it was. But pretty much, if y'all can guess where this is going, you know, the second I was able to let this individual over, the lights came on. And when the lights came on, so many things happened in my mind. I was like, oh, he was getting my plates. Oh, he was, but damn, he got mad close. Like if I tapped my brakes, he will have tapped my bumper and I could have swirled off the road. But I was like, all right, bro. It's like, all right, let's see how we get out of this. Here we go. So when those lights came on, and as I was pulling over, and if I didn't explain this, it was like a cop that pulled me over. But like, you know, as the lights came over, I was just like, hey, this is when I had my conversation with my ancestors, angels, ascended masters. I said, hey, you know it ain't in my scrolls to get pulled over right now. You know it ain't nothing crazy supposed to be happening to me right now. Like, handle this, please. But here's the funny thing is, like a lot of y'all might find that to be very disrespectful, the way that I speak to my family, my ancestors, my angels. We were all the law of one anyway, so why would I speak to you in a certain type of way? No, I speak to you in a way that means I'm comfortable with you. Hey, I know y'all above me. Handle this. You know what I'm saying? I know this is light for y'all. You know, like this is nothing for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So when I spoke to them, there was no fear in my heart. There was no like, oh, am I going to be afraid that the cop's going to have his hand on his gun? Am I going to be hyper critical of his interrogation? No, because he also has a job. That's one of the things with me, like embracing my dark sides. I see the darkness of life, and I no longer have fear of it, because when you feed into these negative forces with fear, that's when they have more power over you. When you show absolutely no fear whatsoever, then it's like, wait a minute, this isn't scaring him. What do we do? I'm different. You know what I'm saying? I'm protected it. I gotta say it like that every time. I'm protected it. You out here by yourself. So we'll see how this goes. So he came to my window, was asking me a bunch of questions, yada yada yada. And like all I knew is like I had this like veil of energy around me. This is what I felt like. It literally felt like I had my own bulletproof vest on. You know what I'm saying? But my bulletproof vest came in the form of an energy that was allowing me to articulate myself properly. You know, like this is technically a high pressure situation, but I pretty much made up some story with a little bit of truth, a little bit of fabrication, so I can keep my story straight. You know, that pretty much got the cop off my ass. And he was like, yo, I feel you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because like I made up a whole story about how some guy showed up on site, and which is partially true. Some like, you know, some PhD doctor guy shows up on site, and we might have to shut down the site. The site had to shut down potentially for different reasons, but he ain't know that. So, you know, you got to like spin the yarn a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you know, I told the whole story, and pretty much it won him over. And he said, you know what, man? He's like, you know, I could arrest you for how fast you're going. I was like, oh, my bad. As you can tell from my story, I was a little agitated, which is kind of true. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize I was going that fast because I was all by myself in the desert highway. I didn't think it mattered, to be quite honest with you. But he said, yeah, it's not my business to be like, you know, sending people in jail for like speeding, bro. Just watch your speed. I'm not even going to give you like that official warning. I'm just going to send you on your way because, hey, you're going through some stuff right now. Say less. Gave me my stuff back, asked me a little joke, you know, or asked me a little question. We had a little jokey joke, and we like had a little chuckle, and we were out. Very simple, you know. One of the things I noticed, this is going to be a kind of random pivot, so forgive me, but this is just where my mind is at. You know, when so-called black people get pulled over, you know, we express a lot of hostility towards these individuals. But one of the things that you have to remember real quick is that when you show hostility to someone that has all the power, when you show hostility to the individual that activates them, if you show them hostility, they are allowed to detain you now. They are allowed to take. Can you step out of the vehicle, please? They're allowed to do all that type of stuff because you have now moved into their court. When you move without fear, when you move with love, in all actuality, you know, when you're looking to make them laugh instead of trying to make them loathe, then you quickly realize that you have now pulled the tides in your favor, not into theirs. And once again, I know there's good cops and bad cops, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, it's like even if you're a good cop and you're not saying anything about what the bad cops are doing, what does that make you? You know, this isn't going to turn into a rant. I'm very calm right now, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I just wanted to like throw those little thoughts out there real quick. If you get pulled over, stop being so damn aggro. I'm not saying like, like bitch up or anything like that, but I'm just saying like, handle your situation with some class and some pizzazz, if you will. But anyway, you know, when I was driving away from that little scene, all I did was just like, thank you. Like, I mean, I know they're inside of me. I know they above, below, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But this is just a universal, like, good looks, homies. You know, because when I gave my power to them, when I just said, I trust you with this, I trust you to get me out of this situation, show me what you got, they delivered. And the weird thing about it is, it's like that makes me want to deliver on the earthly realms. As above, so below. It could be in the microcosm or the macrocosm. It could be something unified with me or something quote, quote, separated from me. But nevertheless, my angels, ascended masters, ancestors, they're doing what they say that they do, as advertised. They doing it up there in the higher dimensions. Well, I should be able to do what I'm doing in the lower dimensions. I really left that scene with power, with confidence, with knowing how backed and how protected I am. I mean, like, it's the simple moments like that. Like, I live in a different world. For example, and this is where I get random, forgive me. But I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, right? Completely irrelevant to what we were talking about. And she told me, like, she still lives in the world where, like, so-called black people, I only say black people to keep us all on the same page, but so-called black people are like at the bottom of the dating pool. Like, we're the least desirable and all that type of stuff. And she kept telling me this stuff, and like, I'm very honest with her. I'm like, that makes no sense to me. It's like, you ever thought that maybe we're the highest, but people can't aspire to what we are? Like, they can't really be who we want to be, or we can't and like, she just kept, no, we're the lowest. She kept constantly saying it over and over and over and over. And I'm like, look at the world that you're choosing to live in. You're living in a world where you are acknowledging that you are at the bottom of the dating pool food chain. What sense does that make? If you believe that to be your truth, that's going to be the world that you live in. Me, I live in a world where I get away with things that the average individual doesn't get away with. I'm invisible when everyone else is like the nail that's sticking out, and when the hammer's waiting to hammer down somewhere. I'm the tallest nail sticking up, but I'm still invisible. I live in this type of world. What world do you choose to live in? I choose to live in a world where I always have backup, whether you can see them or not. I always have backup. The time where, like, my instance back at college, when my physical safety was in question, with me being by myself and completely disconnected from the spiritual sources, and I just protected it. My only protection was my knife in my pocket, the weapons I carried in my backpack. When those two dudes approached me, I said, there's two of you and there's two of me right now. I always got backup, even at the physical, even at the so-called as above, so below, even in the below phase of my life. I still always had backup when I was completely by myself. But now that I elevate, my backup elevates. So if this is where I'm at now, and I don't even really know what I'm doing, I'm just kind of going for a nice leisurely stroll in the cosmos. Imagine what happens if, like, when I hit the higher and higher and higher and higher dimensions. This is where I'm at now. What happens when I hit that next level, and that next level, I can just call down a dragon. Just be like, hey yo, Arshumus. Hey yo, go ahead and burn this dude real quick. Dude just like turns into a burst of fire right in front of me. What happens when? It's like, you tried me. And I'm getting into another video that I'm going to record right after this, but it's like, especially with being chosen ones, being one of the special ones, the whatever words you want to use, the 144, I don't know if I'm part of that or not, but I know there's something special about me nonetheless. It's like, you can't mess with us. You can't. You know what I'm saying? My world is full of protection. My world is just here for me to experience it. My world is for me to craft it as I'm experiencing something. If there's a specific lesson that I want to learn, I can just ask, and it will be given to me. because I communicate with my angels. I communicate with my ascended masters. This is actually something I find to be a little bit unpopular, I guess, in the conscious community, spiritual community and such. But like, this could just be my own ignorance, because this could be my own ego, my own pride and stuff. But I never understood the use of, well, not the use, but I don't understand my personal use of using an altar. I don't understand, the burning of the ancestor dollars and stuff like that. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't resonate with me. Therefore, I don't practice it. Because for me, I believe in everything is energy. I believe even thought is energy. I believe that if I am this infinite like source of energy, if I am so-called infinite, if I am literally just a light body, if I am just a soul that is connected to the truly infinite, the source, God, Allah, Buddha, source, the all, the mind, whatever words you choose to use, then I should be able to feed my ancestors if they need it. You know what I'm saying? But if they're already in a level above me, why do I need to feed them? Now I get it for the ones that may have gotten lost. Then maybe they need a little bit more. Then I can get that. But if I'm sitting here talking to you, if with me being an infinite source that I am, that's attention. And where attention goes, energy goes. So if I'm giving my infinite energy to someone that's going to use it, or something, that's going to use it appropriately and use it to be nothing but beneficial in my life, what's all these other practices for? But I'm not going against anybody. I'm just thinking in my own world. It doesn't make sense to me, therefore I don't do it. It doesn't resonate with me, therefore I don't practice it. That's just me practicing discernment. Maybe one day I'll come around. Maybe one day some of you will give me a proper explanation what I'm supposed to be doing with that. But right now, it just doesn't feel like something I need to do. I feel like my bond doesn't need anything physical. I feel like I don't need anything. I don't need to sacrifice anything. Because for me, in my world, that's dark magic. And there's nothing wrong with dark magic. It's just, I shouldn't need to sacrifice something that I'm energetically connected to. But that's just my limited understanding of what it is that I'm doing. It's just simply not my focus. I just know that when I talk to them, good things happen. So I'm going to keep that one going. Nevertheless, I know I'm all over the place right now. It's early in the morning. My brain's waking up. I just felt like talking. But I'm going to record something right after this one. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Take care. All the above. Try and come out at the same time. Till the next one. Peace.